All right, folks, what's up? I hope everybody can hear me coming in loud and clear. Tonight's live stream, so kind of back to the bare bones. Net is actually out. I can hear me coming in loud and clear. Uh, so we're having to do this via hotspot. To hear me, Chaos?
Oh, I can hear you loud and clear. Hey, family, how you guys doing?
All right. Why is this thing acting? Hot pockets, hot spot.
Oh, we starting off with fire tonight, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Why don't this go away?
You know, I love to see this. I love it when we first start up and I get into chat and just the numbers. Everybody, hey, what's going on? It's like, family reunion every Friday night. You know what I mean? I like that.
Yeah, I can't get my little icon bar to go away.
I don't hear you coming over.
It's because it's stopped. Hey, Chaos, people can't hear me.
They
See
can't
if
hear
they
you.
can hear you.
Hey, everybody, give me a one if you can hear me. I mean, I'll sing for you if you want, but, up to pot tonight.
All right. Since I'm doing this via hotspot, like I said, quirky.
Yeah, hotspots are a little wonky, definitely. Dropping, huh? Yeah, I'm getting I'm getting yeses, I'm getting nos, I'm getting keeps droppings.
All right, hold on 1 second. All right. Can everybody hear me now? Can you still hear me, Chaos?
Oh, yeah, I hear you. I'm getting ones.
1 and 2. Some say yes, some say no.
Oh, two means no? Okay.
All right. I'm going
Some say it keeps buffering.
better, folks.
Paul, y'all both.
Oh, Paul says he can hear us both.
All right. Now, I can't see chat, y'all. So if anybody comes in here being a hot pocket, I don't have to let, but I cannot see. I can't run both at the same time with this damn hot pocket. And it's storming.
Hashtag nuked.
Yeah, it's storming its tail off right where I am. So, Chaos, since everybody can hear you, let everybody know we're going to do a couple of little conspiracy theories here, y'all, for I know the first hour lunch for y'all.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not something that we've talked about for a while, and it's always very, very interesting. And since we have a very intelligent family that does their homework and they have quick fingers with the Google while we're actually streaming here, I figured this would be it's a really cool idea. Really cool idea to talk about. There's a few different things we can talk about that will inspire imagination and conversation. So,
Okay. What do you want to talk about the conspiracies of the lunar landing first, or you want to touch on jail?
Man, you know what? I would say, the lunar landing it's one of those things is that as you're growing up as a kid. I wasn't alive when it happened, but It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I've seen the original, I've seen video of it and whatnot, and in the original format that it was broadcast in, and it's pretty crazy. But then you start hearing things, people picking stuff apart. And for me, I always thought, like, man, why you got to mess with stuff? But when they start making sense with the things that they're saying, wow, you know what I mean?
And the thing is, not like it's just one conspiracy. There's so many different conspiracies on the lunar landing. It is unreal.
Oh, it's crazy. I saw a website earlier today that had like 10 major things, and like the pod, the lunar pod or whatever it was that they were coming out of, didn't make a crater, or there were no stars in the sky. You know what I mean? It just didn't look real. That there were two different like scenes that you saw in it, and you could put them together with the modern day computers, and it's all the same thing. And it's like, wow. I mean, I didn't realize that there was that much inconsistency in that.
Okay, some say I'm buffering a little bit. So this is the thing. I don't want people to think that we don't think that we ever went to the moon. That's not what we're saying. We're saying a lot of the stuff that released to us, the government, whoever you want to say, didn't happen exactly the way they wanted to portray it did. There was a lot of stuff they cut out, a lot of stuff they left out. A good analogy of what we're talking about.
I think so. Yes. And I think, me personally, after everything I've read, after shows I've watched, and just kind of thinking on it a little bit, and trying to get as much media on it as I possibly can, and having conversations with people, I think that there's one part, and it's the audio. Honestly, it seems to me that they may have recorded what they recorded, and that's what people saw. But I think the audio was real, because I thoroughly believe that we went to the moon. There's proof that we've been to the moon. We've we've brought stuff back, like moon rocks and things that aren't from this planet. You know what I mean? So I just think that the premise of it and the reason why they went there is not at all what was portrayed to the American public in what is known as history.
Yeah, that's my thing. I believe we did go. I just don't think we went when a lot of people think we went. I don't think it happened the way. Now you've got some people out there that think the whole thing was a hoax. I don't believe that.
I don't believe that at all either.
No. What I'm really curious and interested in is I tried to find it. I think it was yesterday. I was actually going to leave a link to this place. Is the audio recordings that were leaked somehow out of NASA from NASA? The astronauts are talking about the aliens they see, the spaceships they see, and the base they see. Because a lot of people don't understand when they cut loose and said, they're going on the back side of and they were going to lose radio contact. They actually didn't lose contact as fast as the general public knew. They were
And
still.
wasn't there a recorder? Sorry to interrupt, but wasn't there a recorder in the shuttle? So everything that was said, that they spoke into their microphones, wasn't that actually recorded within the shuttle itself, and they were able to retrieve that after they had come back?
Yeah, I do believe so.
Because there's audio that I've heard, broken pieces of audio that I've heard, because you can't find it anywhere on the net, because the government will come and grab you, or you know what I mean, or completely shut it down. But it's one of those deals where it's like there was some stuff that was said that nobody's ever heard, and you still can't get a full,
No,
listen to a full recording of the tape.
No, because like what I was talking about. Used to, there was a place you could Google, and it was like missing NASA moon landing recordings. Now, when you Google it, it says nothing, no search found, or something like that. I believe that was all desensitized from the net. Got out, people started asking questions, started him hawing over it, and they shut it down. because like I said, I've heard them, and you can hear where they actually cut different pieces in and out of the, what was going on. They ask them, "What do you see?" And in the uncut, unedited version, they say, "Well, we see the base, we see this, that, and the other." And in the edited version, we have a clear. You can tell where they edit it and where they cut stuff.
Right, right. Yeah, and most definitely. I mean, there was a lot more than just moon rocks they brought back from the moon. You know what I mean? There was pictures that were taken. You know what I mean? And I myself personally have not seen these pictures, but
Seen
I've
some
seen.
blurry. I've seen some blurry stuff. I can't tell you what it is, but
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
seen some supposedly.
the only thing that I've ever seen was like artist renditions of people who've actually seen the photographs, and you know, my guess is that the blurry ones that, and like yourself or anybody else that has ever seen, I think the real ones, the good stuff, is locked away somewhere, and I don't think any of us will ever get our hands on it.
Oh no, that's like most of the paperwork that has been coming out of NASA from the Freedom of Information Acts. Yeah, they're giving you these documents, but they're so heavily redacted, it's just worthless. All you get is a piece of paper that says, NASA, and then the landing and a whole bunch of other little crony stuff up at the top. And then you got a page full of blacked out lines. And then like every other word will be the they deemed it wasn't classified. Okay, what good is this? Still doesn't prove anything.
It's funny. I get a couple of good things in that I've seen in chat here. Um, Linda had said that I hear it was faked because they encountered something odd up there. I heard of the original though, and you can hear them start to talk about things. That's 100% right. Honestly, I mean, I think when they went up, just like we were talking about earlier, I think when they went up, that was something they did on their own. They didn't tell anybody about. And what they
And see,
did was word could have started getting out.
that's the
And
audio I was talking about. Used to be a link that you could go listen to it, and I can't find a link no more. If someone does have that link, please email it to me, Chaos Lakea, and I will add it to the description in here so you can go listen to it yourself and make your own opinion.
so Bass Mayhem, he just asked at both of us, what do you think is on the backside of the moon? You want to go with this one first?
Yeah, I'm talking about. I think there's something up there that we're not supposed to know about. Because think about it. Have you ever seen a picture of the dark of the backside of the moon?
Never. Never. I think there's a base back there. I think there's a base, and I think there's activity, and I think that it's right. I mean, the government may know about it, but it's literally under our noses because we have no way of seeing such a thing. You know what I mean? And they're certainly not going to tell us what they have. I mean,
No, because I've heard every kind of conspiracy you can think of what kind of base it could be. I'm like, yeah, I believe there's something up there. Not quite sure what it is. It'll be the United States government has put a weapons facility up there where they can launch whatever they want to in whatever country they want to. Because what easier place would it be to launch something than there?
It's crazy. I mean, and you know what? I think that's just going to spiral into everything else that's going to follow in the subject. I mean, honestly, I think that it just seems to me with everything. I mean, there's been recordings that have been taken from the space shuttle or have been taken from satellites. You know what I mean? That actually have cameras on them and can look around them. You know what I mean? In different areas, and there's been pictures of UFOs right there. I mean, literally, they've been right there. Now, I'm not saying that I know our government doesn't tell us jack about what they really have going on. So it's quite possible to me that we probably already have a spaceship and we just don't know about it. You know what I mean? So who knows if it's ours or what? But either way, there's been pictures of these things that have just been seen in the area. And the question is that, and it's like a big question, does does the government know what's going on, and do we actually have a means of getting back and forth there, like you and I would drive to Walmart? You know what I mean? Is there something bigger, much larger going on than
I do
what?
believe the government is involved because I'm talking about thinking about it. You didn't know. I believe multiple governments are involved in it. Look at the space station. All of a sudden, we were able to put a space station where we keep people in it hours a day, 365 days a year from multiple different countries. Where look how long it took us to get a man into space.
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
I said there's so many conspiracies. We could spend 3 weeks on this and still never touch all of them.
I know that makes for a lot of different live streams about a lot of different things. You know, that's awesome.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, there's so much to talk about. So,
And folks,
now,
I'm sorry about the quality of this stream tonight. If it's bad, we're trying out something new. What we're going to do is take what we learn here so we can actually go out into the field and do live shows from the field. That's what we're doing here tonight.
yep, and we'll try as many. You know, we're definitely gonna. You know, this is one of those things where it's like, okay, this is the option we have, and this is what we're gonna run with. You know what I mean? And you know what? It's actually a really cool thing, because if any one of us can get a, you know, even like with a satellite phone, as long as you can actually be on the net and use it as a hotspot, then literally you could broadcast from anywhere, and that is going to bring a whole different dimension to everything.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about being able to be out on like, let's say, an outing, and as long as we've got internet connection through our phones to a hotspot, you know, we can throw up a live stream and let people know what's going on.
That's right. And the next thing you know, man, it's instead of telling you about stuff that's going on, we could show you, boom, right in front of your face as it's happening.
Y'all can hear DW Runaway screaming, Lakea and Vamp, you know, Chaos cutting up laughing, you know, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. Well, you know what? As much as I'd love to get DW out there, I don't think we'll ever. It'd be like a Mr. T thing. We'd have to knock him out and bring him out there. You know what I mean? That's one of those deals. But that's, you know, it's just a cool idea. I really like the idea of something like this. I mean, because that just, you know, who else is doing that? Who else is going out in the field live as you go? You will be soon. We all will be. So that's awesome. I like that.
I noticed our numbers kind of dropped out a little bit because this may not be everybody's thing, but this is something that me and Chaos talked about last week. It kind of interested me, and because, like I said, now the moon thing is more Chaos's thing. The J.F.K. helped recreate one of these. I sent go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, before we get into the whole alien and moon landing and how it relates to everything else, I would say let's do the JFK thing, because that's just super crazy interesting to me. It really is.
I was able to send Chaos a picture of me actually set up where I'm talking about. This was scientifically done. Of course, you know, they're not going to let us go shoot up downtown Dallas, but we were able to take scientific measurements and go back into a private location that was safe and set up a recreation just like we were on Daily Plaza. What really jumped out at me the first time was we had notes of where all the wounds were on the body and the people that were left alive, and we had timestamps of where the shots went off at. That's the problem I came in with being a shooter. The wounds and the angles didn't line up. If like I said, I can't let y'all see the picture I'm talking about, but you can ask Chaos. The angle and the distance, most people just, it blows their mind when they get to see it.
You know, coming from somebody who's not in the know, which is totally me, and I know I'm not alone on this one, but from the picture you showed me, the angle. Now, just like everybody else, before I get into that part, just like everybody else, I mean, I've been curious about this. I've watched TV shows. I've read articles. Apparently, I don't know if they're true, the pictures I saw or not, but apparently at one point there were pictures, like death photos of John F. Kennedy that they had taken while he was in the morgue. You know what I mean? I don't know. It probably was bogus as far as all that goes, as far as that part. But from everything that I've read and seen and was told about, from the angle you showed me in that picture, there is absolutely positively no way in my mind at all that the wounds and none of that shows up to me. I mean, just for me personally, that's an eye opener again, big time. I mean, that tells you that, okay, someone's not telling us the truth.
Well, like I said, I'm looking at. I started looking at this from a shooter advantage, and like I said, it wasn't just me. We had 5 different expert shooters, not counting all the recreation people and the scientists and the experts on wind velocity and travel distance and all that stuff. The other thing that stuck out at me is, like I said, Lee Harvey Oswald, if he did do this, this was a miracle from where off, because he used literally, you can look it up. This rifle, the Kakano rifle, made battle rifle in the world. The whole setup is the worst in the world. That's why it never actually saw very much service. They were so bad that during that time back then, you can go look this up. Just type in the rifle that killed JFK, and you can bring up a bunch of different stuff. This rifle, they found the article where from the Sears and Roebuck book, but I forgot what catalog he ordered this rifle out of. A kit, $12. We're gonna say $13. It was $12.90 something cents, I think, or 60 something cents. That's what the total cost of this rifle was. 0.5 caliber Carcano, which, like I said, is one of the worst freaking rounds back then. And now they've done some updates to this round, but it is a round nosed 240 grain bullet. It was made as a slow bullet, driving really hard to go through. So, and it's the ballistic coefficient, which I know most people don't understand what that is. Ballistic coefficient is actually how the round travels through the air, how it acts when it hits medium, just as it's moving through the air. This thing has the worst. I'm talking about, you're talking about the way it's coefficient is described is you go from 1 to 100. Right now, a modern 30-06 grain bullet out of a 22-inch barrel has a coefficient, just a regular lead round, of 68. Right here has a coefficient of, like, I think it's 38. That's how sucky this round is.
Yeah.
Now,
and from that angle, there's no that wasn't going to happen that way.
Well, we shot a hog's head at this distance, a hog's head at the same distance the first shot come in. We disintegrated it. So if one of these rounds would have actually hit the president's head, there would have been no head left. You understand just how the impact of this round when it hits, because we're not talking about a modern day round. We're talking about a round that was designed for World War II to shoot through a doughboy's helmet, which is a steel plated helmet, and go in or shoot through a sand berm and still hit your target. That's what these rounds were made for. They weren't made for accuracy. They were made for punching power. So, like I said, unless it's hard to describe the rounds, but like I said, to someone that doesn't understand it, but the one thing that anybody can understand is, I'm talking about, that has no idea, is if you look at the angle that Lee Harvey had to shoot from to his target, and then look at the wounds or read the description of the wounds, they don't match.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. So that begs the question: if the wounds and the angle and the bullet, if none of this stuff matches for it to happen the way it happened, and if it did happen the way it happened, it would have turned out drastically different. Where did it come from? Where were they? And how close were they?
Well, you know, in just about every report you can go read on, it talks about the wound travel. They do say in the most of all the paperwork and the Warren report and everything else that the wounds went from front to back, right?
Right.
It says nothing about it entering on the right side, exiting on the left side. In the angle that Lee Harvey had to shoot at, that was the only angle. There is no straight on or straight on back shot. There is only a right to left angle. That's it. There is no straight on back or straight on front. The only way that's going to happen is if you're dead in front of him or dead behind him.
So if they said the shots came behind, question is which one was it? That's the big thing. You know?
Well, you know, there were two people injured in this shooting. There was the president that was killed, and I cannot remember the name. I just drew a blank of the man that was riding in the front jump seat that supposedly the magic bullet hit. I don't think that was a magic bullet. I actually think that was the rounds that I believe Lee Harvey Oswald was there. He did fire some rounds. And I think those rounds are the ones that hit that man. Can I remember his name? I think his first name was Jack, but I just drew a blank. But the way those rounds impacted him came from the right. And he had 3 entry and exits, as they call it. And they call it everybody at one time called it the magic bullet. And then they come up with this idea, well, it's because he was sitting in the jump seat that actually sits lower than the president, off to the side. Okay. You're still not going to get 3 shots and 6 wounds. That's, that's basic math.
Mm-hmm. There would have had to be more than one shooter, much closer then.
Well, like I said, the way we did our recreation was try to do it the way he said he supposedly done it. Okay, we did that. We could not get none of the stuff to match up. Then we took on some of the conspiracy theories and set up to that way to do it. Well, I'm not going to say which one matched, but one of them did match, and it didn't come from the book suppository.
Right.
All of a sudden, we got shut down. Well, we're done.
Yeah, because if you guys had figured out that quickly that wasn't the way it was done, then they don't want you figuring out how it probably really was done.
Oh, look, then they started talking about, well, the reason why is because of ricochet, this and wait a minute. I've never, ever heard anything about a ricochet shot. Ever. Then they started bringing up, oh, yeah, well, it was a ricochet from where it hit off the back panel of the car. No, that was never brought up, and you can't see that in none of the videos. These were supposed to be dead-on shots. The other thing is, all 5 of us did a mock run without ammo, which is easier than using ammo because you don't have nothing to feed into the rifle. That slows it down too. We all tried to feed 3 consecutive rounds in the time limit that Lee Harvey said he did, or they said he did. We couldn't do it. Anywhere from 45 to almost 60 seconds off of being able to run the 3 rounds as fast as he did. Now, and he was placing marksman shots. We were just running the rifle. We wasn't running ammunition. We wasn't aiming. We just ran the rifle. Rifle is it hangs, it sticks, it's horrible. I said that's the other thing that caught my attention was that. Why would you pick the worst rifle in existence to use to do this crazy assassination that more than likely you're going to die in the middle of? Are you worried about how much a rifle costs?
That's
you're probably not going to be there tomorrow to spend with the money you save.
Right.
Ammunition is not readily available, so you had to order it. So, like I said, you had to order a rifle, you had to order the ammunition. When you could have went down to back then, they had coast to coast, not coast to coast. What was the name of those hardware stores that were just about everywhere in America? It's kind of like a Target now, but it's no, not Costco, but no, not Harbor Freight.
It's not like a Tractor Supply, is it? Know what you're thinking?
No, but they sold everything from guns to ammunition, knives.
Cabela's?
No, not Cabela's. This was before Cabela's. Western Auto.
Oh yes, okay, all right.
Because Western Auto even were big enough at one time that they got certain gun companies to even manufacture guns just for their chain that said Winchester, Western Auto Series 30-06 or whatever. Those guns are worth a lot of money, by the way. If you have one, don't get rid of it because it's worth a lot of money. And especially if it's in good shape. But like I said, you could have went to just about any Western Auto and bought, hell, a 30-30 lever action rifle would have been more accurate and faster than this piece of junk that he had. Since, the cowboy.
Hey, I saw something in chat that Jason just said. It said maybe Oswald had help from the Kremlin in Cuba, because of all the stuff that was going on in the world at the time. And when the assassination happened and took place, it's very possible in a lot of ways that they could have had a hand in it. But honestly, myself, after talking to you and, you reading and watching and whatnot, as much media as I could on it, I don't actually think it was Cuba and Russia at all. I honestly don't believe, other than the fact that at one time Oswald was in Russia and he came back not long before the assassination took place. Honestly, I just think Oswald was a puppet. He was a scapegoat. He was meant to take the blame and meant to be caught. I mean, just a theory to throw out to you guys, but if you look back in that time period and what JFK was doing and how he was trying to clean things up, it begs to ask the question, other than Russia and Cuba, and never mind any external country thing, look inside. Who was suffering the most from all the things that JFK was trying to do? What major criminal organization was being hit the hardest?
Yep, exactly. I'm talking about. All right, let's go with that theory. Let's say Cuba had something to do with it. What did they have to gain and what did they have to lose? We had already threatened to start nuclear war with them by the trade embargo. So if we thought that Cuba had anything to do with it, we'd have just wiped Cuba off the map.
Right.
We'd already threatened to do it, and it was enough to make them stop bringing in rockets, right?
Well, yeah, and let's face it, at that point before then, you got to look at the Bay of Pigs. You know what I mean? Exactly. Cuba already was patting themselves on the back because they kicked our asses on the beaches. All right, that was just a bad deal altogether. You know what I mean? And I'm not just saying that they could hold us back by any stretch. I don't think that at all. I think it was just poorly planned. You know what I mean? Bass just hit the nail on the head, but we'll get to that. But
what did they call JFK's little group. They called them the Minutemen or something like that. That they all wore suits and slacks and around, and they put everything in numbers. Well, this many men should take this beach at this time by this time. It don't work like that. That's what lost us the Bay of Pigs is the pencil pushers.
Right. If we'd have gone in there full bore, we'd own Cuba right now. So.
Oh yeah, I'm talking.
It would be a resort. So.
What most people don't. There was an elite unit called the Big Red One that had been around since World War One. They were trained. That's all they were, was an assault battalion. If they would have in, nothing on Cuba would have been left standing. But instead, basically, we didn't send in the first string. We didn't send in the second string. We sent in the fourth string.
Right. So if Cuba really is a non-factor, I mean, at that point, they're patting themselves on the back. We kicked your asses. You know what I mean? No, we know. You know, I think at that point, they were just like, they were happy with what they had happened, how it swung to their side of things, or how it made them look. So if you look at Russia, well, we're in the middle of the Cold War, or we were in the Cold War at that point. So, and I don't know if that was like the beginning of the Cold War, or it was like, you know, when J.F.K. took office, it was like, you know, that was something that had just really started happening within a few years. But
we're in the middle of the Cold War, and
we're in the middle. Okay.
As soon as I'm talking about the body his body hadn't even really got cold yet, and you had prime ministers from Russia all the way up to the president at the time. Tell them, look, we had nothing to do with it. We had no operatives in the area. They were trying to justify that they didn't have nothing to do with it so much that
right. At that simple point in time, I don't think either country could have done a covert operation without the other knowing about it, because security and tension was so high. Literally, it was so high that, you know, JFK nor the president of Russia could fart without each other knowing about it. You know what I mean? So it's you know, sorry for the analogy, but, you know, just to say that I don't think I know Russia had nothing to do with that. They might have thought about it, and they're like, but yeah, let's just kind of keep our nose clean on that one and just keep an eye on them like they're keeping an eye on us.
All right. So we've established that Cuba and Russia had nothing but really to lose in this. Now let's take your analogy and turn inwards. We're going to look at home. We're going to look right here, homegrown. Most to lose if he stayed in office. Well, let's see here. That's when the union, the Teamsters, and all of them were getting started up, and his little brother were big into that.
Yep, they were big Teamsters. They were.
Yep. Who had to lose from it? Okay, if they stayed in office and kept everything going the way they were going, you had organized crime that had to lose. That were actually, you know, if you want us to build your house, you got to use our men. Well, the way that the Teamsters come in and said, no. You have to use these people this time, these people this time. You know, they were breaking it up, trying to get the monopolies off of it. Well, that was causing a big problem with organized crime, feeding their legit businesses money from their organized crime to clean it. Most people don't even know that or even think about that.
Exactly. And when it came down to it, the mob, in all way, shape, and form, you know, they were the ones that were going to hurt from all of this. I mean, literally, when it comes down to it, in that situation, it's all about money. And they stood to lose, you know, millions and millions of dollars, and possibly their, you know, syndicate themselves, you know, if these guys stayed in office. They're like, oh, no, we're not going to do that. Because if you think about it, crime-wise, JFK is really cracking down. You know, that's when you're starting to see a lot of these specialized groups and local law enforcement pop up, because the funding was there. They were just, you know, they literally were trying to box them in from all sides.
JFK was a big instrumental thing in bringing the FBI in, the ATF, all that stuff. He was big into that. because he was trying to fix the problem right here at home before we went somewhere else. That was his big thing. Big into organizing groups for the workplace and everything. And like I said, that put a damper on organized crime. The other thing was no one really paid attention to was the FBI at the time, like I said, was in its infancy. And even though they'd been in the works for years, they were still in their infancy. There was a report put out of the heads, all the heads of the organized crime. I'm not going to say what the report is. We don't get into a bunch of really wants us to talk about, but there is a report. If you just do a little searching, you'll find it. That puts just about all the heads of the organized crime in Dallas the week before the assassination at a big meeting. Now, I find that a little bit, ironic. That's a big coincidence. That's one coincidence. Now, I believe in coincidences when they're random, when one. But when you get 4 or 5 coincidences lining up, that's no.
Well, if you think about it from their point of view, this is a perfect situation to do this. If I were in that situation, I'd be like, listen, you get this shit with Cuba, you get this stuff with Russia, nobody's going to even look at us. That's the first thing they're going to think about and talk about. Let's do it. This guy's killing us. Let's take him. Let's take it down. You know what I mean? And the next thing you know, what was it? A year or 2 later, his little brother gets shot. Yep. So, it's one of those deals where it's
odd shooting in itself. An armed gunman is able to infiltrate rings of security to get all the way into the room next to the president with a loaded weapon, with how many Secret Service agents and how many police officers in the room with him. And not only when they subdued him, if you watch the video, there's one of that. When they subdue him, he's still able to empty his gun. He's not finished firing after about 4 or 5 people are on top of him. Because that right there was that right there was recorded, and there's been several different copies of it leaked out. But like I said, after 4 men are on top of him, pushing him down on top of a steel table, he's still pulling the trigger. If I'm trying to save someone, the first thing I go after is the weapon. If you subdue the weapon, that takes 90% of the threat away.
Yep. It takes
not just the person, the weapon. The other thing, if you look in the picture, the still pictures in the video, you'll see a fully clothed officer with his service pistol in his hand, drawn from his holster, and he's laying half on, half off the floor, is like he just fell. Okay, and he didn't fire off a single round. I said, there's so many freaking different conspiracy theories. There's so many different angles that unless you hear it from the horse's mouth, you're never going to know which one is true, which one's not. But like I said, the JFK thing, if you just do a little bit of research on your own and into it, and it don't take that much research to understand bullet coefficient, angle, stuff like that, it's not going to make any sense of what they said happened. It don't. 2 and 2 don't make 4. It makes 220. It's
right.
It's so far out there. You're like, huh? Actually, cannot perform the shot that Lee Harvey Oswald did. The 3 shots with a modern day rifle. And what I mean by modern day, at the time, we used a Winchester Model 70, which was used a whole lot in the Vietnam War. Most of the our snipers from the Marine Corps used Model 70s and Model 700 Remingtons as their sniper rifle. You can't do the shots that he said that they said he did with a modern day rifle. It just it don't line up. And by the way, you can do a little research. I think Lakeia started pulling some up earlier. You have to do a little digging. I think, if I'm right, as far as I know, there were 33 recreation. 33 different teams or persons have tried to recreate this and have not ever, to my knowledge, been successful in recreating exactly what happened.
Yes. I was able to pull up 33 reenactments.
Yeah. And then if you do another search and ask how many reenactments were successful, you'll get a big goose egg.
Right. So, that's got to tell you something.
That's to my knowledge of. It's been a while since I did any research on this because, like I said, once I hit with that, like I said, it's kind of like, well, maybe it was one of those things you need to stop doing research on. Because, like I said, as soon as we figured out, hey, it had to be done this way to get the results, they shut us down. Nope, we're done.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So it's, maybe there really was somebody on the grassy knoll. Maybe there was somebody in that overpass that wasn't that far away.
Oh, this is another little tidbit of information that's very, very rarely known. There was a man standing at the overpass that was actually hit with a stray bullet. They said Lee Harvey only fired 3 rounds. All right, all 3 rounds hit the president. Where did the round come from?
Boy, that's interesting.
I said, you have to do a little bit. That's like you brought up a lady that, what would you call it? The Babushka lady?
Yes, the Babushka lady. And you actually gave me a different name for her today because you hadn't heard of her in that sense. So,
I'm not going to I told you earlier, but that's what we were referred to her as. And what's odd about this, Chaos can tell you, during this, she's right there. I'm talking about just yards away from the car as this shooting starts. She never flinches. She never does nothing. She's just there. Yeah. Everybody else is running, ducking, everything else. It's like she expected it to happen, and it wasn't a surprise to her, and she wasn't worried about getting shot.
Right, exactly. I mean, and it's she knew what was coming. She knew what was going on. And I remember we were talking about this earlier. It's like an example I can give. I mean, if there's any question as to, okay, maybe she was just scared with fright or anything like that. But, you look at it like this. You look at those pictures that is taken of her. Everybody else is reacting, and she's literally like a statue. Now, to relate that to something that just happened recently, we've seen the footage from the Boston Marathon bombing, and they actually have the footage of the younger Tsarnaev brother that had the white hat on. When the first bomb goes off, everybody jumps and flinches, except for him. He just kind of casually turns his head around and, turns his head back. You know what I mean? So that's got to be like the same thing. And I think one of the things we're talking about is, okay, so what was her point of being there? And what was her deal? You know what I mean? If she didn't have a radio, she didn't have this or that, she's just there. Was she a range marker? Was she in a certain spot to let whoever another one of the shooters was to know, okay, I need to put right here, kind of like as a safety precaution. If he's right here in relation to her, boom, I can take my shot. I know right where I'm going to hit. Type of thing, you know what I mean? That's what I think anyway. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but
well, no, you're not totally wrong. It's I can't explain that without going into some detail that I don't need to be explaining. But right. How do you? All right, if you'll notice in the video, all right, when you use a range marker or someone for a range marker, you don't want them to blend into the crowd, right?
Right.
You want them to be a kind of anonymous, and you want them to be able to, for your people or you to pick out just by glance.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at how she's dressed, she's the oddball of the bunch.
No, she's completely different from the way everybody else is dressed.
Yep, very. I was trying to figure out. All of a sudden, everything kind of got a little wonky on this end. I didn't know what had happened, or
Well, you never, for me, you never cut out. So I heard everything you said.
what. What. Uh, huh. I think it was my hot. I think it was my hotspot doing some kind of crazy. But like I said, that's one of the biggest things. Is like I said, her role in that. I believe she did have a role in it. I believe her role was basically a marker or the. I wouldn't say a distraction because she really wasn't a distraction, but it was more like her. That's where you start to do your work at. I will say execute whatever you want to call it, and unless she gives a signal that it's not okay, it's not clear. I believe that's because I've heard and seen it being done before. Uh, we call them players on the field. Uh, like I said, that right there is your out. They know that they don't have to worry about being hit by any of you or you. Extra gunfire that would be going would be the gunfire from the other side returning. Well, if she's back far enough and they think that it's coming from this direction over here, then they're gonna be shooting at her or shooting at them. They're safe. They're just a pawn on the field. But you have someone or something out there that can give you just about play by play by, let's say she tied her scarf around her head. That was okay. If she took her scarf off her head, that means that no one fired, no one did anything. The plan's off. What is that? That could be seen with the naked eye or with a scope, and that nobody would think nothing about. But
it makes sense.
But her dress was so outrageously different than everybody else. She sticks out like a sore thumb. So it's easy to find her in a crowd.
Yep.
Let's say if you got 300 people dressed in white uniforms and black uniforms, and you have one come through there in red, who's going to stick out the most?
Oh, you're going to see the one in red. You know what the funny thing about that is that I think they planned for more people being in the area that she was at, because everything that you see, there was a very small number of people in the place that she was.
Yeah, but you know why, don't you? Collateral damage.
Yeah.
If you got a lot of people in what you call the zero area, you're more than likely going to have a larger number of collateral damage. Well, if you got a large number of collateral damage, it's hard to stick to this theory that this one lone person did this, especially if they're not firing in the direction of the other people. Know that, okay, there was another shooter over here. That's how this person got shot.
Right. And nobody ever said anything about different calibers, right? Was it all the same caliber?
That was never discussed.
I imagine they would know. I would think so. I mean, because the question remains then, okay, if we've got a possible 2 other shooters, then are they using the same weapon? You know what I mean? And if this is such a high-powered round from a closer angle, and you were saying earlier that, from the angle that you were, from the picture you showed me, you shot a hogshead and that thing disintegrated. Yeah. Maybe there was a smaller round, because from a closer angle, that round would have done more damage, I would think, anyway.
Well, like I said, you have to do a little research on kinetic energy, on what a higher caliber round that weighs more does. A smaller round moving slower does less kinetic energy. Rounds are really big. All right, what hurts? What does more damage? If I hit you with my fist or I hit you with my finger?
Well, your finger could hurt more because that's a whole lot of stuff go small
Yeah,
area. I would think so.
yeah,
But
but
getting hit with a fist wouldn't feel good either. So,
well, my analogy in that is all right. Think of the round that he was shooting as your fist. Now think of at the time you could the 247. The 270 was popular, or the 243 was real popular. The 308 was popular, um, or the simple 22 Magnum was really, really popular. Now you're talking about something that's going to make less of a report, not travel as fast, but it's still going to cause wound damage.
now, I heard as a question, and I think it totally relates to this. You're talking about 22 Magnum. If somebody, I don't remember where I heard this. I don't know if it was in a hunter safety class, or I really seriously don't remember where I heard it, but I did hear that if you were to get shot with a 22 or 22 Magnum, that it has enough power to go in, but wouldn't have enough power to go out. So it would kind of bounce around like a pinball and cause a whole lot of problems in there. Is that correct?
It is, but it is on to a certain extent. Depends on how far you are away, because the further you are away between the barrel and your target, G. And let's say you're 20 feet away. Well, that round's going to have enough energy as long as it doesn't hit any hard like bone. It'll just pass through. But
Okay.
but it does have enough energy to impact. If it hits bone, it will ricochet. If I've heard of 22s hitting someone in the calf and coming out up their waist, because it will hit a vein and it kind of like follows that vein up. It's a 22 X. That is one of the worst weapons to get hit with, because
Oh
it
yeah.
just
It's gonna, you know what I mean? If it does something like that, that's gonna tear up a whole lot of everything.
to get people to understand the difference in the kinetic energy. When this ends, just as a little visual, go look up a 30-06 is what we're going, because they don't make a 6.5 Creedmoor anymore. Well, not a Creedmoor, but a Kakano. They make a 6.5 Creedmoor, which is way hotter, and the bullets aerodynamic. It's not even nothing remotely the same. But look up a 30-30 shooting a watermelon, and then look up a 22 Magnum shooting a watermelon. Integrated, one's just gonna make it kind of like, but it's gonna make a hole and it kind of bust open,
Right.
kind of like the wounds that you get in the supposable real photographs. Like I said, a real rifle round hitting a object like I'm gonna say a cantaloupe is kind of like a human head, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right. If you hit a cantaloupe with a high-powered round, it disintegrates. It just blows it up everywhere.
Right.
A 22 does not do that. It makes a whole entry hole and kind of like bust. It doesn't have enough energy to just disintegrate it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this has been kind of fun and interesting. My internet, this hotspot is going wonky. I think we're blasting it to its fullest.
It seems like it's going.
It's still going. Okay.
Let me check.
All right. They still hear me. I know we keep dropping listeners and stuff, and like I said, I know this is not our normal, usual, every weekend thing. I just thought it was something new, unique, and different we could talk about.
Well, the beautiful thing is, as far as I'm concerned, my personal opinion, that the Vault of Nightmares kind of encompasses everything. You know what I mean? It may not be something that we talk about all the time, and we may not know a whole lot about, but we do tend to find enough facts and things that are worth talking about, and just kind of go from there. I mean, honestly, I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. I mean, you never know what you're going to get, and I think the best way to go about stuff is that,
And if Miss Ed is listening, I want to tell you something.
I haven't got to that yet, Vault.
Oh, well, we're fixing to get to that, because I can't hold on to it no longer, y'all. I'm about to bust the seams.
Well, I don't know if anybody's paid attention to chat, but I said later on I may or may not be revealing something over at the Vault of Nightmares Facebook page. And to see it first, you do have to go over there later. It will be after this stream, I promise. However, me and Miss Erin combined a few ideas and came up with a new Vault of Nightmares logo.
Oh, it's awesome.
That will be used extensively on this channel. If we do any t-shirts, whatever has to do with this will be used. And y'all have Miss Erin. She is the brains behind this, and Lakia was the driving force. So thank you, Miss Erin. Hugs and kisses.
It was awesome. I was going to read everyone's shirt ideas on the stream, but since this is a testing stream with the hotspot on location, I'm going to wait till another stream when I know, we've got good connection to do that with. So just bear with me. And if you still have any t-shirt ideas or anything like that, feel free to email me, lakealibrarian@gmail.com, with any of your ideas.
Well, we're like I said, we're in. I'm working on getting a lot of stuff LLC'd. So, like I said, I thank you again, Miss Erin. And I said it fits perfectly.
I like it.
What on your end? What are we looking for coming down Chaos Theory production? And y'all need to go listen to his last show. That was awesome.
Oh, chapter 3 of the dad story. Yeah, that it just keeps getting better and better. I mean, for me personally, and I'm not just saying that to be like, no, my stuff's getting awesome, but it's just I've read the whole story. I've read it over a few times. You know what I mean? And it's a great story, and it just keeps getting better and better with every chapter. I mean, sometimes when you get no matter how good a story is, there's always a point where there's a bit of a lull. You know what I mean? But I haven't seen that in this story at all. You know what I mean? It's really good, and the last chapter, chapter 7 is just like, wow. It was well written. The guy who wrote it really well. I don't know if it's a creepypasta or a true. Honestly, I didn't ask, but that's why I didn't put true on it. But I just thought it was a great story. I wanted to do it, It's
a great story regardless. If it's not true, he had one hell of a freaking imagination.
Oh yeah, I mean that's if that's just a work of great fiction, then he's that dude's he's doing pretty good for himself. He's got a good imagination, good ability. So, but yeah, I mean,
I wanted to address it. Just came to me. A lot of people. I redid Booger Valley and put it all together. Well, the first part of one, and I mean the second part, I had a computer glitch one time right after I'd done those, and I lost the audio, so I had to go download them back to this computer and try to get it as best I could, because that was the infancy of the Vault of Nightmares on YouTube, and it wasn't the best. I understand that. But I just wanted to get it out there. A lot of people had asked me to do that, put it all together. And, and like I said, I'm sorry. The first part kind of, it sucks. I'm sorry. The audio quality is not the best, but.
Oh, it's still a great story though. It really is. And I had a few guys listening closely at work this past week. So it's pretty cool. You got rave reviews from where I work, buddy. So definitely.
What I don't know is, like I said, that's just the first part of when we found out about the so-called boogers, is what they call them. But there's a little bit more to the story, and like I said, I've been thinking about doing that. So back to Booger Valley again.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's got to be. Just from my standpoint, you know what I mean? It's got to be.
All right, y'all. If you the Vault of Nightmares Facebook page, y'all get to see the new one.
Oh, it's up. Nice. Nice.
crap! I keep hitting my elbows.
So,
Okay, Paul, if you for me.
I do have a question to throw at the chat. You know what I mean? Because I know there's, a lot of people in the chat that also, listen to me too as well and all that stuff. So I was thinking I have this extra content, but I didn't want to kind of put it all out into like one huge video later on. You know what I mean? So I was thinking, because I think I've heard from a couple of people that said, hey, you should just put up more stuff if you can. But I actually have some stuff that I would really only have to do very minimal editing to, so it wouldn't take long. And I was thinking about maybe putting up a video, maybe in the middle of the week or something like that, on a Wednesday or Thursday, something to that nature. Just 4 or 5 minute video. But I've got
Hey,
a.
and while we got Miss Lakia sitting here before she scoots off again, wherever she's scurrying to, you go ahead and say what you were going to say.
Well, no, it's just it's 25 short horror stories, and some of them are only a paragraph long. You know what I mean? It's almost kind of like those 2-sentence horror stories, but only you get a little bit more. So I was thinking about maybe, for a few weeks here while I have, 3-4 minute videos, maybe 5 minutes at the most. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Oh, hey, there's Agent. So, I think I'm going to have him help me out with that too. I think you're going to see maybe a couple of these videos that has Agent Shadow Wolf on there doing a little narration with me. So that'll be fun.
I got it.
Definitely.
I got an idea. Let's see how the people like this. How would you feel about taking, let's say, 5 or 6 of the short ones, you throwing up a live stream, say like tomorrow night or tomorrow, and telling those live on a live stream?
Okay, say it again. I kind of lost that a minute.
I said, what do you think about taking like 5 or 6 of those short stories you were talking about, putting up a live stream and telling them live on the air?
Maybe.
Come on now. Would y'all like to hear Chaos do that, y'all? I'm trying to talk him into doing a couple of live, or doing at least one live stream a week or something. Or once a month, or one, something. Would y'all like to hear that live storytelling by Chaos at least once a month? Poke at him and get him like twice a month.
Oh boy. Well, I could probably do like a once a month thing or something like that. I might be able to do that. Definitely. The wife has me running whenever I come home, so I don't get a whole lot of time to do anything unless it's on the weekends. You know what I mean?
We need to invade.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm slowly talking her into trying to do some narration for me. So, you know what I mean? Maybe like on I don't know, if maybe like on a Saturday night or something like that, if Lakea doesn't have a stream going on or anything like that, or maybe do one a little bit, or something to that nature. I don't know. Maybe that might work out.
Yeah. All right. Now, Miss Lakea here, and I've kind of handcuffed her to the chair so she can't slither off. What did y'all think about her newest Dogman video?
I personally thought it was. Okay, did I just lose you? I thought it was awesome.
Oh, hell yeah. My favorite.
I loved it.
My favorite part in the whole thing was Floaty, the dead deer. I'm sorry. That was the best to me.
Oh, yeah.
Floaty's going. Oh, yeah. I mean, Bloaty. Bloaty's going.
Bloaty.
Bloaty. I love that. I love how she told the story. I said it was scary, but it was like also comical and witty. So, Miss Lakea, a little bit about how the story came to be, where it came from.
Well, I have this gentleman that I will only call him Dragon, nothing else, no more information about him. And he sends me all of these awesome stories from the times he worked for Consumer Powers. And this just happened to have been one of the first stories that he sent me by email. And as soon as I heard it, enthralled with it. I'm talking about I read it and then I put it up and then I read it again. Then I put it up and read it again. And I was finally like, I'm just going to go through the emails and I'm, as they sent them in, do them in order and be done with it. And I had a video idea, actually, that was my own that I was going to put out before that one. It kept, it just stayed in the back of my head, this story, over and over and over. And I finally said, you know what? I'm putting my own personal videos to the side, and I'm going to do his stories. And he's already sent me one to do, and he has more to send on the way as well. So I'm stacked.
I hope it's as good as the last one. Now, I got a question. Did you release where? Did you tell the name?
Yes, Woodtick on Woodtick Peninsula. Yes.
Say that again?
Woodtick Peninsula.
Okay. It so happen to know a little bit about this area. It's very, very creepy, very spooky, but not. I haven't got to go there yet. It's on my bucket list.
All I've got to say is that after his story and some of the stories that he's emailed me since, I don't want to go. That was enough for me.
You name it, and this place is known for it. It's kind of like last week's place, the Water Triangle, but except I think it's not paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things that I've been told, I think it has to do with all the power plants and stuff. To go to this place, you got to get special permission because it is heavily guarded because there's a lot of power plants and stuff that are on this area. I don't suggest you try to sneak out there. You're not going to like what happens.
What I love about the emails that Mr. Dragon, as I will call him, sends to me is he'll send me his story of what happened. Mm-hmm. And then he'll send me another email telling me details that flow within the story. But it's like, it's kind of like, what is that Dark Water calls it? Inside Baseball? Or,
Baseball.
He sends me another email about each story that's kind of like a little bit of Inside Baseball
that's just
about
cheating
it.
Now.
But this, I'm going to be the first to say, the way he first described this thing to me, he goes, it was basically this bipedal creature, and it goes into details that I have actually not heard very many people mention to me or mention in public.
See, I can't tell by the description. You were good and vague about this description. Dogman, if it was a Bigfoot of some kind or something else.
The way the Inside Baseball, thanks for coining that term. I cannot speak tonight. But that's what I got from it. It was Dogman. But some of the details that I did not release into the story different from a lot of mainstream Dogman encounters.
What if this is the first report of like a deformed Dogman?
Could be.
Because,
or
like I said, a lot of the stuff lines up,
mm-hmm.
but there was just a few things I'm like, I've never heard that. Well, I said, it may just be because no one ever paid that much attention, or, like I said, it could be a deformed one, or it could be just another adaptation. I think I'm pronouncing
adaptation.
Yeah, that word. Don't make fun of me.
I'm not. I've been misspeaking all day.
I'm speaking Valtanese. Leave me alone.
Yes, and you text Valtanese too.
Well, my phone has Tourette. Sometimes though, it doesn't even get close to what the hell I said. I don't know what it's like. It has a mind of its own. My smartphone is a smart ass.
But like I said, at first, if you first read the story, it could go either way, Dogman, Bigfoot. But the second email where I got all the details from, I'm sorry, hands down, I'm saying it's a Dogman. And that's what I went with. That's what my gut told me. And I'm the type of chick that tells you something, your first instinct, that's what you go with. It's one of those situations where if you're on the street and you hear gunfire and your gut tells you to run, you better haul ass. That's just the way I am.
That was my first. He's seen a Bigfoot, but then when you started describing the stuff that he was seeing, I'm like, don't describe a Bigfoot. 99% of a Dogman, it's just a few things that were just like, huh? Never heard that or seen that. Okay. Never know what you can come across. Like I said, it may be a new species of Dogman. It could be one that just in a different form. I don't know what, but like I said, it's just odd and creepy to see it out in the water like that, doing that.
I will say this though. Other stuff that I've edited and the stuff that I've edited on your channel, because I have, what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of your content from the story parts, those were my editing or my stories. People, you know, and help put together in the beginning on your channel. And so editing, I'm kind of used to. I had a little bit of a editing snafu with my software, but I'm pretty good at editing. But while editing this Dogman story, me hell, there's no other way to describe it. And in the original, it sounds crisp, clear, great. In the video, it sounds like I'm literally in the back of the vault or the back of the school bus by myself, you know, like a little scolded child. It echoed. I had to boost treble and everything else. And then as I'm editing and I go to post it, some of my words got messed up. That's not messed up in the original. Such as, if anybody caught it or read the description, swapping. What the hell is swapping?
I don't know. That's vault talking. I don't even know what the hell it is.
It was supposed
Sure.
It was supposed to have been slapping, the waves slapping up along the beach, basically. And it come out as swapping. I don't know why. And I do misspeak a lot, especially when I have a lot to say and I talk fast. Try to slow down sometimes to talk, but I am a fast talker. But it totally distorted some of the words in my video after, and I didn't notice it till after I posted to YouTube. And I watched it 6 times before I posted it. It wasn't in the original.
And I'll tell you, I'm sorry for the little smart ass comments I made, but they were funny. But you you are small and you drive a slow car, so yeah.
You know that happened to me. I listened my paramedic story. There's a part in there where it repeats itself, and you know what? I must have listened to that story 10 times before I posted it to YouTube. And next thing I know, I've got like a little repeat in there. I'm like, come on. So I mean, I wonder if that's because I've heard that from a lot of narrators, and I'm almost wondering if that's like a YouTube thing. You know what I mean?
This is why I tell you and LaKay, y'all are too spastic about y'all. Look, y'all are the what's the word I'm looking for?
You called me a perfectionist.
Yeah, big time perfectionist,
No,
OCD perfectionist.
now,
Both of them.
I do.
Chaos and LaKay both.
I do.
I think y'all wore a spot out on the audio is what happened.
Now, I do have OCD. I will be the first to say.
She has OCD.
However, I'm usually the type of person that I love imperfections. I love things like I like the hole with the crack in it. You know, I like the coffee cup that the handle broke off. That's just me. I appreciate things like that. But, you know, I wanted to do this gentleman's story justice. Swapping, I was like, what in the world did I do?
So when I tell somebody they're cracked, I'm actually giving them a compliment.
No.
You know, I never heard the swapping. I mean, honestly, when I listened to your story, I was actually on break at work. It was like first break, and it sounded perfect and crisp and clear. It was a really enjoyable story. I really enjoyed that. The only thing that got me is why the heck would a Dogman chew on something rotten like that? What? I mean, geez, that's a new one for me. You know what I mean?
It's a rotten.
My thought on this, my theory, and this is just me, I'm weird, y'all know that, was I don't really know a lot about the area, Woodtick Peninsula. I mean, I tried to do my research and I looked up, you know, and I've seen some things and read some things, but if maybe it was having a hard time finding food and it was just kind of like, you know, oh, it's there, let me eat this.
I don't know. Like I said, I know that's one area you can't pull up on Google Earth. I don't know if that's something they did for security reasons. Like I said, there are power plants there. And like I said, don't go out there, y'all, trying to research or look. I'm telling you, you heard it here first. you will not like what happens because, like I said, there are roaming security, there are police. If I'm not mistaken, they keep two sheriff deputies.
Oh, and I seen somebody in chat bring this up, and I was going to ask Fault about this as well.
I didn't do it.
What did you think about the description taken out of the carcass, like melon scoops or like a Pac-Man bit into it? You know, it was I'm guessing a semicircled, smooth.
I was taking that maybe because of it being bloated, it being half rotten. The skin would not be, it's full of gas, so it's going to be like a balloon when you try to pop it. It's just going to rip, and it's just going to rip instead of just a pinprick. Maybe because it was bloated and it's half rotten, it was just coming off so easy. It made those scoop looking marks.
Yeah. I do want to say this. I seen the gentleman in chat earlier tonight. I'm not going to say his name either, but I did see TL, the gentleman that sent me the other two stories, the one about a Saved by a Bear and the woman in white. I seen him in chat earlier. So TL, if you're listening still and still in chat, I really hope that I did your stories justice.
What you're doing, and like Chaos was talking about, the little, what I call the mini short stories, I like those because you can listen to them and still have time to do whatever you need to do, and it's like gives you something. It's like food for thought. Now I like the long ones too, but sometimes I don't have time to sit there and listen to 30 minutes of a show or whatever. Like I said, I like the idea Chaos has got with the little mini ones, and then either you can put them together, spread them out.
Well, it comes to mind, Maritza actually had said to me one time that I wish you could put out more content. And, I've been thinking about it for a while, and I'm like, I've got these short stories. I'm like, what if I put like 4 or 5 of these short stories in like a 4 or 5 minute video, like in the middle of the week, just a little something. And then I've got my normal Sunday uploads, kind of do something like that just to kind of, put a little bit more stuff out there. If you like it, hey, I'll put some more stuff out if I can. Definitely. You know what I mean?
I definitely like it.
My thing, that's why I was putting up, I know the ones I put up have been short, but I was thinking some of the stories that I have wouldn't necessarily go together. And I find it a little generic now that everybody's doing 10,000 stories of this or 5,000. I didn't want that. And I appreciate everyone I get. I may do a compilation video and take a bunch of stories and put them together to make a longer video. But people have been asking me, please post something. And I finally had those up ready to go. So I said, might as well just drop them while I had them.
Yeah, and that's a great idea. I mean, those 3 stories, just dude, you knocked it right out. They were awesome. I really enjoyed those. And as far as like these that little like video I was talking about doing in the middle of the week, this is just going to be straight up old school narration. Boom, my voice, some music, a couple pictures. There we go. You know what I mean? I'm just going to go old school on that one.
I like the one that you did, like, hey, where it just was you talking.
Oh, that was Saved by the Bear. That was the bear one.
I like that because it was just.
Yep.
And the reason why I didn't put music to it is because I know as a lot of us channels on YouTube, we get everybody's encounters on occult, paranormal, supernatural, Bigfoot, Dogman, cryptids, dreams, haunted houses. We get things like that a lot. But this was something, and it wasn't, I wouldn't say unusual, but it was something different. Yep. And I wanted to put a spotlight on it, and I wanted it to stand on its own and make people think. Can a predator also, be friend-like? That's why I titled, in the thumbnail, friend or foe, you decide. Because, you hear all these horror stories about bears, and then you hear, and I'm not saying humans don't play a role in that. Of course we do. However, you don't hear a lot of stories about predators like that end in good situations, that just end up,
It's like how you did me a solid, let me do you one.
Yeah. It to stand on its own. Just, ignore my voice, ignore my accent, my sound. Just honestly pay attention to the story. And I wanted it to do, to help people maybe do a little soul searching or a little deep thinking or a little shadow work, whatever you want to call it. And, take a step back for a moment and just think on it.
Yeah. Hey, and I want to give a special shout out to a buddy of mine that's listening tonight. officer that I've been talking to. I'm going to let him tell what he wants to tell about himself in a future show that I'm going to bring up. That it's been having some issues and problems with Dogman on his patrols. But I do thank you, man, for all the work and stuff that you've been doing. I thank you for all the stories you've been telling me about. Because this dude will write down, talking about, he takes so detailed notes that I would love to read one of his because I'm talking about as soon as he sees something, that's the first thing he goes to. He keeps a notepad with him and he writes down, this happened at this time, and all this kind of stuff, so it stays fresh. So when he's trying to tell me, it's easy for him. What I do is I tell him, all right, read your notes to me, and he reads his notes to me, and then we talk about it. And then sometimes he, different things. Hey, I did notice it doing this. I thank you very much, brother. He's somebody that I've known for years on top of years. If I told you how long, then that would tell off my age, and I ain't doing that. But like I said, it's not about his stories or not about betting. If he told me the sky was falling, I'd put on a hard helmet sitting in a basement. Like I said, shit we've had over the years of crazy things that have went on through the vault's life and the vault getting itself into. And he's been there for some of them, unfortunately for him. But he will be coming on a show. I'm trying to fix it. This is part of it, where I can actually go on location with him. So I do thank you, brother. I'll let you tell the people what you want to call yourself, because I don't want to call you something and it not be what you want to call. I call him Slick, but
yeah, he is slick. That's for sure.
Like I said, he's look. When I say he's a true, just want to help people. This dude is a part-time police officer, part-time deputy sheriff, a part-time firefighter. Name it. He's either done it or does do it. So, like I said, he just likes helping people. It puts him in a unique place that he gets these crazy stories.
If I can have a moment of everybody's time, shameless plug, not only check out my channel, but also check out Chaos Theory Productions. Check out Miss Vamp Lugosi coming summer of 2017. She will start posting content. And please check out everything Mr. Dark Waters has been dropping lately. I'm talking about from midday streams to, he's bringing us some stories back from, the old days, old school style. And also, if you haven't already, go check out Dark Waters' Facebook page. He has some awesome t-shirts over there, everyone. Please go get you a t-shirt before they sell out, because I don't want to hear anybody griping that they didn't get one.
Hey, Chaos, I'm trying to get him to do scrunchies too for you.
Oh, that's fantastic. I could use some because they keep snapping my headband, my rubber bands.
We can have, for the men, we'll call them beard scrunchies, but you can put it on the top or the front, wherever you want to put it.
Well, if you give me more than one, I'll have one in my hair, one in my beard. I'll be good to go. Definitely.
But yeah, he's been putting out some killer ass stuff, and I know for a fact he's got some killer ass stuff coming down the pipeline. Do y'all realize that for 3 hours almost straight the other night, after story after story after story after story after story, live on national radio?
He did, and look, I was up editing that Dogman video and working on a logo for U-Vault, and let me tell you, it was. I don't see how Dark Waters does it. I don't think I could do it. I can chit chat, they say, all day long, but he had story after story that just would draw you in to where you were leaning your ear to the speaker.
What was the name of the show again?
Midnight in the Desert.
Yeah, Midnight in the Desert. Y'all need to go check that out. I think you can find it now where you can listen to it for free. It is a paid podcast or radio show. But I think after so many days, they do release at least part of it, if not all of it, where anyone can listen?
I don't know. I'll have to ask him, ask Mr. Bossman #1, and get that information. I also have another some other questions to ask him about shirts too. So I will get that information, and once I do, I will post it on the Vault of Nightmares Facebook page so everybody knows, where you can go and listen to it. But
I think that was one of the best shows that radio that I know they asked him to come back.
I will be honest, that was the very first time I've ever heard Heather or him on that channel, and I'm enthralled with her. I thought she was absolutely adorable, and then hearing my brother too, my boss man #1, I couldn't have asked for anything better.
Now, to let you know who this lady is, she took over for Art Bell. So, you got to go check her out. Check out, like I said, our brother in arms here. Like I said, he told such good stories that it was like really, dude. You would swear they were recorded, and it wasn't. That's the one thing they didn't. He sent them some stuff to listen to see what he did, and they're like, well, we don't play pre-recorded stuff live on the air, so he just bangs out the stories.
I'm telling you, I had my phone going. I had it playing through my phone, and I was sitting there on my laptop just cranking out vids. And I caught myself about 3 different times. I'd stopped working on my laptop and was just listening to my phone for like 30 minutes and didn't even realize it.
Not to change the subject, I noticed someone earlier posted did a super chat. Who was that?
I didn't write it down, Vault.
Oh,
I was trying to get your buffering thing.
I'm sorry because I couldn't catch your name, but I do appreciate it, and
we can get it after the stream.
Yeah, we can get it after the stream, and I'll put a thank you in the commentary. But me, Chaos, Vamp, and Lakea, what we're talking about, not only got to donate to the super chat, what we're thinking about doing is putting it into a special fund, and we're going to try to plan an outing for 2018, sometimes in around April. Is that what we decided on, Chaos?
Yeah, it sounds about right. About mid-April type of thing. Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be using this for. So thank y'all for all the donations, and it's going to go towards a trip for all of us to get together and drive y'all nuts, or me drive them nuts.
Oh yeah, especially if we get this hotspot thing down and we can broadcast right from there. Can you imagine all of us on one microphone? Ooh, that would be great.
If I can figure out how to get a hotspot working, and I know I got a way to get power there. Oh, we can all have our own mics. It's going to be fun.
Well, yeah, I didn't mean literally. I mean just all in the same space. But
what would be even more awesome if we're all sitting around in the same space, and then we do the call-ins.
Oh yes. Because
yes. I mean, we're set up for call-ins now. However, we're waiting on that one. Since Vault was the first one to do all the music and everything through the live stream, I think it's the DW does all the first live calls.
Okay.
Got to show love to both brothers.
Oh yeah. I'm not exactly. I think he's going to do his through Skype or something.
I cannot wait. Sure. I cannot wait.
Oh, I'm going to be the first one to aggravate shit out of him.
No, I'm going to tell him hang up on you. I'm going to say, DW, don't
But Chaos, what do you want to talk about, dude? Time for you to over.
Well, I was just going to mention one thing, and then I'll give it back to y'all. I also seen in the comments, I can't remember who said it a while ago while we were talking about the bear story, talking about sometimes wild animals will take children in that have wandered off or something like that. Yeah. And we have the whole feral, goes on that, this child was raised by monkeys. There's tons of stories out there. Well, it makes me wonder, though, if in my story, the gentleman, they think he kept warm in the den that night. Well, it made me wonder, what if he wasn't rescued? What if he ended up staying in that den with those bears, being an adult, not a child? what would have happened after the fact? Would they have still been nice? Would they have let him wander away, or would he be?
Wow.
Eddie. You got any picnic baskets?
Volcanus, $8. Thank you, Jason, for letting me know that. Volcanus, thank you very much for your donation.
Yes, thank you very much.
If I'm
that's
slaughtering,
awesome. Thank you.
if I'm slaughtering your name, I really do apologize.
The truth. Thank you for that, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. The way I'm set up, I can't run my Hangout side and my YouTube side at the same time. It interferes with each other with this. I think I'm going to have to figure out if they make a bigger spot.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I know it's on 4G, but I don't think the 4G. I think we're trying to push the 4G to ZG.
There's a couple of places that I've been trying to talk Vault into going on location. One of them is in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, one of them's in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
I know you do. I figured you'd be up for that one.
I think we're going to do Alaska first.
But I have been in contact with some people that have some very, very, very strange things going on in those places at their home. And the one thing about each home that is the same, this is what makes it weird. Each home is the same size, and each place is secluded. I'm talking about they see pictures, and they're almost mirror images of each other besides the paint color. And some of their strange things that have happening are very, very, very similar.
It is.
Yes, it really is.
I know a lot of the cabins are kind of built all the same, which are actually freaking. Usually, they're either just big giant boxes, kind of sectioned off, asthmatic and inside, or they're domes, and they're the natives there, the indigenous Americans that live there. They have a name for these huts, and I cannot stern life of them. That the Eskimos use, and like I said, some bush people use. It's kind of like a circle top. And I cannot remember the freaking name of these things. It's not an igloo. The closest thing I can that reminds me of it is, have any of y'all ever seen like what the Khans use over in Mongolia? The Mongolians use. It's like the portable little huts that takes them like 2 people can put one up in like less than an hour. Ooh, the whole 9 yards on the inside. Like I said, that's what it reminds me of. And like I said, that's what I was thinking. But 2 houses way apart from each other made exactly this. That's odd.
Yeah, it's very odd. Like I said,
Adobes. That's what we're talking about.
Took you long enough.
Be quiet.
No, but my baby Absol, she has a case of the slows. Bless her heart.
She don't seem like she's faster than you, and she got little legs.
You see how I use that? What is that southern thing they say? Bless your heart, when it's kind of like supposed to be like a slap in the face or something.
No, I just didn't pay no attention.
I read that on social media. It was like a meme or something.
What did I tell you about that? You don't need to stay on. You don't need to play on social media.
Oh,
Pick up
Tamala.
bad habits.
Tamala, she's always asking me about my baby Absol. She's asked, is it part Chihuahua? Actually, no. And I've been saying she's a Corgi as well, and that is not true. We have very recently, as of actually yesterday, discovered that she is what's called, and if I butcher this word, y'all don't shoot me, a Valhund or
Bang.
something. Valhund, something like that. It's also known as a Viking. I think it's Viking wolf or a wolf corgi. And there's a lot of myth and legend around it, but they're known as a super rare breed. I know this when I adopted her.
Of course, you would find a super
or when
rare
Bald
breed.
adopted her for me. Let me put it that way.
Of course, you would wind up with a super rare breed of dog.
I will try to spell it in chat.
Don't even attempt me to do that because we'll have something.
And we also found out, and I'm going to butcher this one too, that we were talking about Bear, Balt's dog, is actually a, what is it, Leonberger, something mix or something like that with Shepherd. It's bred to be a specific large, rather really large canine dog.
Yeah. They're not small places.
No.
The average is 160. They up to 200, and they can get bigger. But that's Bear, the new member to the family.
So that's what we had DNA tested. So that's what they came back at.
And I thought this was kind of funny the other day. We were talking about Satan. Okay, it's got her mini wolf. I have Bear. And Chaos, what do you have?
I have a wolf. I have an Okie. I got a wolf child.
That was a cute picture you sent.
Yeah, it's weird because those hats are old. It's some hats that we got for the boys a few years ago. And Okie's he's just a little guy, he's only like a year and a half, but he's standing there nothing but a diaper, but he's got this wolf hat on, and it looks like a wolf's head. You know what I mean? Like he should be, he has like a big old headdress on, and it's got like these things that run all the way down. They look like paws, but they go all the way down to his feet. I think it's supposed to be like mittens or something like that. It fit him, having him run around the house like that.
He's got him a Okie ball hun too.
You know what? When I saw that, Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
First thing I thought of, when I was like, he dressed this kid up like the what's the little thing's name on Jungle Book?
Oh God,
Mowgli.
He did Mowgli.
I was always a Baloo type of chick, but that's just me.
You are kind of just,
I would sing the songs from there, but I'm not going to because I don't want you to get striked for that. But yeah, there's a really when it comes to the type of breed that is, there's a lot of conflicting information. There's so many different theories. I didn't realize this at all, to be honest, about this breed, because one place will say this, one place will say that, but one of them was way back long ago that they had wolves and corgis breed. However, a lot of new studies have shown that they don't have corgi in them at all. So it's one of those things though where she looks like her body is built like a corgi, but she looks like a wolf.
Yeah. The first time I seen this dog, old enough, or I've ever heard of Wile E. Coyote off the Looney Tunes. That's exactly what she looks like, except she's gray.
Well, I posted her on the Facebook page, but it's like a black and white gray photo.
Well, she looks just like the Wile E. Coyote. In the way she'll just turn her head and look at you like, what? Now, we kind of took over again. Let's let Chaos fault this time.
I'm sorry. Have it back.
So, what do you want to talk about, Chaos?
Oh man, let's see. Should we get into some deep stuff?
I don't know, because this little hotspot thing. What does it mean when they start blinking?
I've never used a hotspot before, so I'm at a loss on that one.
It went from a straight line light to a blink, 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 blink.
Brother Man is in chat. Hello, Mr. DW.
You snuck in.
Mm-hmm.
See chat.
No, I know what it is. You heard his name.
You heard him exactly.
Or did you smell the donuts?
Oh no.
Don't ever ask a cop that. You won't. He's not going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know why I pulled you over? Yeah, you smelled the donuts. They're not going to like it. Trust me. I did find out something today I thought was kind of interesting.
What's that?
You know, in our little game, I figured out what each one of us are. Let's see here. Lakeia would be the brains. Vant would be the getaway driver.
Yes.
Poke at you. And Chaos would be the rational thought guy. Do we really want to do this, y'all? That would be Chaos.
You know, I've never I've never thought of myself as a rational thought type of guy, but it honestly, I'd say, do you really want to do this? Oh, let's just go. You know what I mean? Type of thing. For a moment, I'd be rational. I'd be like, all right, I'm getting behind you. You just let me know where you want me.
This is what I mean by rational thought. Tell me what's the first thing that pops in your head when you hear this? Hey, y'all, let's go rob a bank.
Dude, I got $50 in my pocket. I don't really need to go to the bank right now.
That's what's there. The rational.
Okay. All right, I got you then. All right.
Or I wonder what would happen if we shoot at those cops. What's the first thing y'all would think of? Why? I don't want to shoot at them just to see what would happen.
I just want to walk away from him because you know what I mean.
Rational thought guy. Like Kaz, like you're an idiot. Vance, like you do it while I'm, if we don't have to stop. Oh, I don't want to think it's fixing to die over here. Because I can't plug it up. I can't run it while it's plugged up and charging. Also, God dang it!
What are you seeing blink? Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Darn.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one off before we get cut off, and I can't get back in to fix this. So, Chaos, let everybody know what you got coming on, where to go to, and.
Okay, well, real quick, I'm really excited. I made a new channel intro. Well, not like like the trailer, but I made a new intro for the beginning of my videos, and I got some good reviews from the fam right here. So I'm pretty excited to throw that out. But anyway, I'm gonna try to put out something in the middle of the week. I've had a couple people ask. This coming Sunday, I have a Ouija board story that I get off of No Sleep. It's a really good one, a little short one, so that'll be nice. It'll be a nice little setup to the one that myself and the ladies are doing. And the week after that, a week from this coming Sunday, I'm going to be putting out chapter 4 of the dad's story. And last but not least, look for something new from Mr. Paul, because I'm working on something that he sent me. So I got that coming down the pipeline.
Cool, man. And like I said, y'all go over, subscribe, click the little bell on Chaos. Right here where you are. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, click the little bell. Go to Lakeia, because y'all need to go hear about Bloaty the deer. It is cool and it's cool as hell. So is the bear story. I like those are my two, but Bloaty's my favorite. Y'all like, subscribe, click the little bell, because you never know when she's going to drop something. And as always, make sure you lock that door on your way out.